This video is sponsored by the Black Art in America Foundation. This is Portrayalism, Defining a Movement of Representation, written and paired with a virtual exhibition curated by Shontay Robinson. The hierarchy of painting considers portraits second in the level of importance, right after history paintings and before genre paintings. While this hierarchy may be antiquated, as many of the genres of painting created today could not have been conceived in the 17th century, in the contemporary art moment, portraits have come back to the forefront of painting, especially among black artists. Modern and postmodern movements allowed for art to take unprecedented turns, with the notion that painting was dead after 1830 with the invention of the camera. Though portraits hold an established position in the hierarchy of art, black artists weren't participating in art salons that began in Paris in 1673. But today, black artists from around the diaspora are participating in art fairs and creating groundbreaking work across the globe. With the proliferation of portraits and other sorts of figurative painting, it's clear that black artists have developed a yet untitled art movement that I'd like to call portrayalism, a movement of representation that includes the black image in the Western art canon en masse. Though black people have always made art, in Western society their art has been othered as primitive and fetishized by European artists from Cezanne to Picasso. With a plethora of institutions where the portraits of white nobility can be viewed in gallery upon gallery in museums across the Western world, the invisibility of the other is starkly apparent. Given that there is so much importance placed on portraiture, the creation of portraits was primarily reserved for the noble and wealthy. So at the height of the creation of portraits, before cameras were invented and made portable, there weren't many portraits of black people, and especially black women. Historical records chronicle many of the paintings featuring black subjects beginning in the 16th century. Though many of them feature black subjects as servants, there are a few that feature black people as the central subject of the paintings. Though there were black artists participating in the Western art canon as early as the 19th century, there is still a limited number of portraits of black sitters. The history of black artists who were recognized by Western art culture began with Robert Selden Duncanson in the mid-19th century. Edward Mitchell Bannister was the first black National Award-winning artist. Other black artists creating around the time, including Edmonia Lewis and Henry Osawa Tanner, also created portraits. During the Harlem Renaissance, Archibald Motley Jr. stands out as an artist who created portraits at a time when art was constantly being challenged. The Western art world was following the lead of artists like Marcel Duchamp, who turned a urinal into an artwork, perpetrating the notion that art can be anything an artist deems. The thought that painting is dead had pushed the boundaries of what was being considered art, and black artists during modernism, which was occurring during the Harlem Renaissance, were similarly creating artworks that defied normative standards by looking to Africa for influence. Though black artists since the Harlem Renaissance and black arts movement have been creating art that propelled art forward, no other movement created as many portraits as this contemporary movement. The abundance of contemporary portraits on the art market is signaling a movement of representation that places the black body in spaces where they have historically been absent, in many instances because of racism and discrimination. Images of black women's bodies, which are more often than not seen as excessive, has been exhibited throughout the works of contemporary black women artists. These artists have been intentional in depicting narratives that portray the black woman's experience. Having been maligned for so long, from the auction block to hip-hop videos, black women have been depicted as objects for commerce rather than human beings with feelings. For this virtual exhibition, Portrait of a Woman, 25 paintings by artists from Black Art in America's collection were chosen that exemplified the beauty of the black woman's body, spirit, and mind in the portraiture genre. These artworks show the humanity of black women as more than the people who are called on when the going gets tough. These portraits exude humanity, exhibiting a part of black women that often gets overlooked. Many of the portraits show black women in moments of solitude and reflection. Many of these artworks depict contemporary black women in moments of reflection as they take a break. Here, they aren't excessive, they aren't loud, and they don't have attitudes. They are vulnerable and beautiful. While some portraits featured depict black women in experimental and non-traditional ways, others depict more traditional portrait styles. But these portraits also each have particular, unconventional elements that reflect the artist's unique and individual flares. In the contemporary moment, the plethora of portraits of black women are doing the work of centuries of erasure and omission. In a society where black women have been the workhorse of the culture, depicting black women in thoughtful and caring ways reciprocates the labor that they have endured for centuries. The artworks chosen to be part of this exhibition depict black women as tender and picturesque. Through these artworks, black women are depicted as fully human instead of superhuman, and it is the vulnerability depicted that makes each of these artworks so powerful. To check out the full article, Portrayalism, Defining a Movement of Representation, as well as the virtual exhibition, both written and curated by Shontay Robinson, visit Black Art in America's website at www.blackartinamerica.com. Thank you.